The New York Knicks are currently the hottest team in the NBA. They won 6 straight games. They're 12-2 with OG Anunoby. Just recently beat the Miami Heat, but that win came with a massive negative. Let's talk about it.
Let's run that intro.
They're playing basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
What's going on, Knicks Nation? The New York Knicks simply just cannot lose. And they're the hottest team in the NBA. The month of January, they are 12-2 with OG Anunoby. Everything is clicking right now for this team. Jalen Brunson is playing at an all-NBA level. He should be definitely an all-star. It should be announced this Thursday. Unfortunately, he wasn't an all-star starter. We'll get into that as well. During this episode, we're going to get into everything. The Julius Randle injury, which we'll probably touch on here in a quick second. But, Chris, how you doing this weekend? How you doing this Sunday evening?
Oh man, I'm all right, man. I'm pretty much like most Knicks fans right now, just refreshing that timeline, trying to get any bit of information we can get on Julius Randle and what's to come. Like you said, Julius Randle injury. We'll touch on it, but how you doing, Ant? How's the weekend treating you?
Quiet. Nice quiet weekend. It was great, and then we had the Julius Randle injury news. Some footballs on to right now, actually, that I have in the other screen. So, but yeah, appreciate every single one of you that are joining us here tonight. Another episode 33 of the Knicks Nation podcast. Boy, oh boy, they just rack up every single week, but I love it.
Flies, man. Time flies.
I love it. So, Chris, we just coming off a blowout versus the Nuggets, coming off a great win versus the Miami Heat. The New York Knicks, one of the best teams in the NBA right now, but it came with a massive negative. Obviously, we're all awaiting the Julius Randle MRI results. Depending on when you're listening to this, we probably already know the MRI results, but right now we're live. But look, it hasn't come out yet. Towards the end of the game, 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Knicks were up, I think, 13? Randle goes for a layup, tries to plant his whole body with his right shoulder, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you can see it popped out. Dislocated shoulder for Julius Randle. And we're just awaiting the results. And we're holding our breath right now, honestly. But right now, no news. It's no news, good news, Chris.
I don't know in this case, right? I mean, look, we know it's a dislocated shoulder, and depending on what else happened during that dislocation, I guess that's the key, right? I believe the description was dislocated shoulder, and there wasn't much damage. But to me, that means there is some damage. So, things have been quiet. We don't know the result of that MRI, and to me, I'm a little nervous about that, man. I mean, he was getting that MRI the night of, and here we are Sunday, and no news yet, man. So what about you? How do you feel about this radio silence right now on Julius Randle?
I have to be honest with you. Like, it gets me kind of nervous. He's already ruled out versus the Charlotte Hornets, so that's a given. But it gets me nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It gets me nervous. Tyler in the chat says at least it's not his shooting arm. That is a fact as well. Fugazi in the chat with the super chat. Positive vibes to you as well. Appreciate the super chat from you. But yeah, I mean, it gets me nervous, but I'm hoping that, man, I mean, that would be a massive blow. Worst case scenario, Chris, I mean, I guess we can go through worst case scenario and best case scenario right now. I mean, what do you want to do? The worst case scenario first, the bad news first, or the good news first?
Oh, man. You know what? I'll go worst case scenario as much as I don't want to even think about it. But obviously, worst case scenario, in my opinion, is things don't look as promising, I guess, if you want to say, with the initial description of the dislocation. And
yeah,
Julius is out for the season. something like that. I think that's the worst case scenario in everybody's mind, right? Um, what are your thoughts? I'm assuming that's your worst case scenario too.
Come on, Big Jew. Come on, Big Jew. We need you. We need you. Those of you that are listening on Apple and Spotify later on, I'm holding up a Julius Randle jersey. But yeah, that's the worst case scenario. He's out for the season. Those are the words I do not want to repeat ever again. But, that's honestly worst case. Best case scenario, he's only out for about a month. I think Steph Curry had dislocated his shoulder as well and only missed about 11 games. But everyone is different. It just depends on depends on the ligaments in the shoulder. We've seen a bunch of Twitter doctors come out and give their opinion, saying that it all depends on the MRI results. And right now, Sunday, January 28th at 9:36 p.m., radio silence from the New York Knicks. Everyone's on X trying to refresh. Everyone is trying to get an update on the shoulder. But right now, at this moment, we just know he's out for Monday. That's all we know. I don't want to speculate. I hope that he's good. I hope that hopefully the no news means that, we have some positivity above the hills, but best case is that he's only out for a month and, the guys can hold it down. And they have been, we've gotten good performances from Jericho Sims, Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa has come out this last week or so, and I think he has 40 plus rebounds in his last 4 games. So we have the guys that will, we've even seen them play Jericho Sims at the 4 sometimes. Not sure if I like that, but the guys are playing well, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I'm hoping, like you said, best case scenario. It's a month.
Yeah,
4 weeks. I think the Knicks will, I think they're more than equipped to be able to handle something like that. Don't get me wrong, Julius Randle, again, he's a big part of this team. His production, that's hard to replace, man. It's going to be a team effort. But with that said, like you said, Precious Achiuwa has been playing phenomenal for us. We just recently got iHeart back. He didn't look amazing, but, he's still out there. OG Anunoby's playing out of his mind. And of course, Jalen Brunson is leading this team and playing at an all NBA level. So I feel good if it's that best case scenario, but anything more than that, start to get a little bit, nervous about it, man. What do the Knicks do if it's something more than that, more than 4 weeks? But hopefully Randall pulls through, man. He's a tough guy, and he's going to put that work in to get back as soon as possible. So hopefully we get some good news, man.
It's just crazy how things can change in a blink of an eye, man. I mean, this team has been, the best team in the NBA in the year of January, but yeah, replacements. I mean, if he's out for a month, we can hold down the fort. I mean, obviously Jalen Brunson will. You see all these players in the NBA dropping 70 plus points. I wouldn't be surprised if Brunson becomes the next player to drop 70 points because, his usage will skyrocket. So, guys have to step on the offensive end, and I have faith in them, and you guys should have faith in them as well. OG Anunoby has been playing. I mean, he's looking amazing out there. I mean, he's absolutely an incredible talent, incredible player. He's exceeding my expectations. I mean, from what I've seen in Toronto, I know he's had, blow up offensive games over there, but Chris, he's starting to get comfortable in this offense. He's starting to hit mid-range jump shots now. He's starting to, his defense, I think he's, second right now behind Rudy Gobert for, the odds on winning defensive player of the year. So, wow. He's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah. OG, yeah, like I've said many times already, I'll eat the crow. I said it, better than I expected defensively. And now you're starting to see that pull-up mid-range game from OG's driving, being aggressive, trying to dunk on everybody, it seems like, lately. I love it, man. I love it. He's all over the court. What more can you ask for, man? I mean, there was rumblings when he was in Toronto that he wanted a bigger role offensively. And look, with Julius going down, we're going to need every bit of it now with OG. So I'm excited to see what more he can bring on the offensive side, but so far, so good. I love what I'm seeing from OG Anunoby.
Likewise, hit some of these comments in the chat. Appreciate every single one of you in here. Fugazi says, it's time to make the move. Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk for Grimes and Fournier. We'll come back to that comment. And then Shai says, MRI must not be good. They are certainly looking at a second or third opinion. Or it is up to Randle to play with pain or have surgery. Knicks and Randle are taking their time to decide. That's what I was thinking. I didn't even think they could be going for a second and third opinion. And in that case, Chris, we know how the Knicks are with, last year, for instance, when Julius Randle went down with his ankle injury. They were very vague about it. Yeah. They were like, he'll be reevaluated in a couple of weeks, and we'll see. So
that's true. I mean, they were very coy about it. You got very little details. It wasn't basically until the game he came back that you started hearing, all right, he's actually – moving, cutting, things like that. It wasn't until he was almost right at the cusp of returning that you got more details. So that's a great comment. I mean, that's probably what it is, in my opinion. And I mean, does that shed light though, that if you're getting a second and third opinion, they probably didn't like what they saw? I don't know, man. I'm makes me nervous. I'm getting more and more nervous here.
I actually did a post game after the game versus the Heat, and I think Fred Katz reported that Tom Thibodeau said he was very concerned about it. And the mood just shot, man. I mean, right now I'm hoping for the best. That's all we can do. Big Taz says at least we are at the light part of our schedule. Very light, man. We got a bunch of home games coming up here. We got Charlotte coming up, and we can continue our winning ways. Randall can rest up a little bit. That's what we hope is the best case scenario for it. Anthony, is the Heat to blame for this injury? I've seen this a lot, Chris. And last year, Miami, obviously, we all know Randle hurt his ankle. This year, it's just unfortunate that he hurt his arm versus the Heat. In my opinion, I just think it's freak injuries. I don't blame them, but it's just I do dislike them right now at the moment. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it is.
I think that's with the Heat in general. I mean, when it was Knicks versus Heat, obviously, in this current short-term rivalry as of late, obviously the Heat took us out, and Julius Randle getting hurt, Bam Adebayo on his screens, his illegal screens, whether you think you want to say they're legal or not, I get it. But when I saw it, I just think, look, the Heat, they're always going to play hard, even if they're down 20. Look, Jaime Jaquez tried to take a charge, whether you want to say it was dirty or not. I personally don't think it was. It's basketball. It's basketball. That type of stuff happens. And, I don't like it. I don't like that it happened to Julius Randle, that he got injured, but it's part of the game, It wasn't dirty in my eyes. And that's somebody who, again, I don't like the Heat as much as any other Knicks fan, but I do respect them, but I don't think that was a dirty play at all.
Yeah, it just stinks, man. Tyler says, he brings up a good point. It is concerning because when Mitch went down, the Knicks never gave us a timeline of how severe the injury was. And then out of nowhere, Woj tweeted about Mitch's disabled player exception. So right now, we're just waiting. No news. Could that be bad? Could that be good? Again, we just have to wait and see, but I'm leaning towards the kind of the bad side. I mean, it sucks to say, but we'll see. I could be wrong, but yeah. I mean,
yeah, I'm trying to stay positive here, man. I'm trying to stay positive. 4 weeks, that best case scenario. I hope that's the case, man.
Fugazi with another super chat. Appreciate you, Fugazi. What do you guys think about this trade if Randle was out for a while? Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk for Evan Fournier and Quentin Grimes. I don't mind. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But in that package that you suggested, you will have to give Utah probably a first-round pick. And they'll probably, I think, Olynyk is I think this is his last season. He's an expiring contract. So maybe, look, if the Knicks get bad news, worst-case scenario, in my opinion, they have to go out. You can't just bring in Taj Gibson and say, hey, Taj, save us again, because look, this team right now is just too good right now. So, yeah, what do you think about that trade, Chris?
I like it. I mean that's two of the players that I spoke of before that I think the Knicks would target. You know, Kelly Olynyk, good player who can stretch the floor, and I think he'd fit in great. And Clarkson, for obvious reasons, that scoring punch off the bench that can spark us. So I like it. I like it. But do you think the Knicks would really go down that path if Julius Randle's gonna miss a significant amount of time here? I don't know. I don't know if they go and actually make a move and a reactionary move, in my opinion. I think the team is playing too good to kind of shake things up that much at this point. But I could be wrong.
If they get him back, let's say it comes out, they get him back before the playoffs, like just before the playoffs a week, so he can get his, conditioning right, his feet wet, then I don't think we should make a move. But if they're seeking second, third opinions at this moment, right now it's radio silence, then I would think they would have to make a move. I mean, it was a question whether or not they would still make a move, trying to get someone off the bench these last few weeks, that's been a major question. And I do think they'll address that. But when you lose one of your, look, I mean, Randall's a walking 25 and 10 right now. He's a walking bucket. Like, it's hard to replace his production. And it's going to be very hard. I'm sure Brunson will hold his own. OG will step up. I saw Jacob Toppin's name in the chat, Unleash the Beast. And then CM says, who is the backup power forward? I mean, right now it's Precious and Jericho Sims and Isaiah Hartenstein. That's your pretty much your front court right there. And obviously we have Fournier, but Fournier never plays. So the Knicks it's going to have to get they're gonna have to get, a little bit different. Like it's gonna look different. Rick, what's going on in the chat? Shift Precious to power forward, bring up Toppin, wait for Hayward to be bought out. Yeah. So
possibly. But I think this was the fear of most Knicks fans coming into the season, right? I mean, there was really no legitimate, after we lost Obi Toppin, there was no legitimate backup power forward to Julius Randle. And, we're banking on Julius staying healthy, as he usually does, because, hey, let's be real. Julius is always out there, man. He rarely gets hurt. And he was on his way to another typical Julius Randle season where he's out there almost every damn game. So, fortunately, gets injured in this Heat game, and now you're scrambling a little bit. But, I don't think it's, again, bearing any bad news, any worse news, I should say, coming from Julius and his injury. I think we're okay. We do have OG Anunoby, and I think he'd be good as a, maybe slide him over to the power forward slot and, shift everybody up a notch. Do you bring Grimes back into the starting lineup? I think we have some options, man, before, going out and just bringing somebody else in.
it all depends on what's the severity of the injury. But yeah, I have faith in the guys, man. Especially Precious has been playing well. He's starting to get the playbook, starting to actually feel comfortable in the offense. Defensively too, he's solid. He's blocking shots at the rim, and he's just playing. He's playing well. And Jericho held his own versus Jokic. I thought he actually played really well versus Denver. You liked him, right? Yeah.
I thought Jericho Sims was just balling out, man. Talk about a tough situation, man. Just coming out and then boom, you're matching up against the MVP. So I think he did more than hold his own. I mean, look, Jokic was going to get his points, but Jericho made him work, man, every single time. And again, a great Knicks are playing great, man. Beat the Nuggets, beat the Heat. Bummer about Julius, man, but everybody's just playing really well right now. We're clicking.
The best news that we can hope for is that, Randall's out a month and then he'll be reevaluated after that. That's what we're hoping for. But get well soon, Big Jew. But like Chris said, the New York Knicks are playing extremely well. Yeah, I mean, OG Anunoby's playing well. I already see Tyler in the chat saying Obi back on the trading block. That would be funny, right?
That would be
hilarious.
Imagine that. Knicks Go and trade for Obi Toppin.
Bring him back. Welcome home. I think he comes. Yeah, he comes home this week, Thursday. I think his return to Madison Square Garden. Will he get that tribute? I think they'll play a little video for him. I don't have any inside information on that, but I think they'll give him something.
Yeah, I think so too.
I saw DeRozan too. So DeRozan's offense would flow. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't want the Knicks to go that way. Chris, you brought up DeRozan's name. I'm not messing up this starting five at this moment, but like I said, it all hinders on what's wrong with Julius Randle. Look, if Randle's healthy, I still want the Knicks to bolster up their bench unit. I still think they need, kind of like a veteran back there, like maybe like a Lowry or someone like that, or like obviously Brogdon's name has been in the rumors, or Clarkson, like it was suggested in the chat, depending on where they go. But it seems like they're trying to trend away from DeJounte Murray. But yeah, I mean, DeRozan, his name is just keeps being linked to the Knicks, Chris. I don't know how, like, I don't see it. Like, I don't like it.
I mean, right now with Julius going down, and let's say it takes some time for him to come back. Let's say he's not out for the season, but it's more than 4 weeks. DeRozan is intriguing to me, man. Like, if you put OG Anunoby at the 4, you got DeRozan at the 3. I think it's good, man. DeRozan gets buckets, man. He's a mid-range assassin. He doesn't space the floor, which I get it. That's the knock. And then when Julius does come back, what do? I think that's the biggest issue with it all, right? When Julius Randle comes back and he's healthy, you got DeRozan there. I think that does disrupt the chemistry. So I don't like it, but for in that regard. But right now, just as a plug and play, if I could have him for, without giving up too many assets, I would think I would do it, man. But in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't fit, and I get it.
Yeah, everyone healthy, there's no shot I'm doing that. It's just the final piece to this team to me is, another scorer, playmaker off the bench, and then we're competing with anybody. We're already competing with anybody. I mean, there's a lot of fans that just want to keep the team as is, and I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, that's your opinion, but I'm saying when playoff comes around, and we saw it kind of bit in the third quarter when the Heat went on that 10-0 run when Brunson was on the bench. Tom Thibodeau was like, get your ass back in the game, and obviously Brunson closed out the Miami Heat. So and that could lose you a playoff game right there, just a run like that. And so we'll see what comes from that. Fugazi brings up a good point. Extended All-Star break coming up too, so a semi-blessing for the timing. Yes, if Randle is, let's say it's 4 to 6 weeks, it's only going to help that, the All-Star break is in the middle of that. It's only going to help. And I do think on Thursday, Randle will be announced to be an All-Star reserve too. So I think it's going to be Brunson and Randle. And depending on the severity, it's probably looking like Randle's not going to play. But I'm ready for that announcement. I can't wait for that announcement.
Yeah, same. I would love nothing more than Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle named as All-Star reserves. Granted, Brunson should have been an All-Star game starter, but I digress. Either way, I hope those two guys get their names called when the reserves are announced.
Big Taz says DeRozan, thumbs down. Tyler says send Indy back the second-round picks. Could you imagine that? All right, Indiana. We'll send you back the second-round picks. We just need Obi Toppin right now. And Obi Toppin was when Randle was out, when Obi Toppin was starting, actually played pretty well. But it's just something to think about.
I would welcome that, to be honest. It could take back the second-round picks, man. We'll take Obi Toppin back. I'm sure when Obi Toppin heard Randle went down, he was probably just like, hands up, like, yo, this couldn't happen when I was there? Like.
Yeah. Nicky Axe says bet Randle will be back after the All-Star game or before. Look, Randle's a warrior. And the thing about Randle was last season he played what? He was on his way to play 82 games. Only Nick last season to play 82 games was Isaiah Hartenstein. And it's just Hartenstein's missed some games here too. So it seems like the Knicks injury bug has kind of hit them here a little bit, kind of a little bump in the road. But I don't want to get too concerned right now, obviously, depending on the news. But every team goes through this. Every team goes through these trials and tribulations, and you just have to get through it. And hopefully we can get through it, because look, Hartenstein is back. Only played, I think, 15 minutes. Now Randle he's the X factor right now. We just don't know. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we can get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I have confidence in this team. I mean, the way that we're clicking right now. I mean, look, Julius Randle going down. That's huge. That's huge. He's important to this team. He's, he commands double teams for us. In his passing, things like that. Whether you like his passing game or not, it's a big part of what we do. And again, wishing Julius the best. Hope he gets back soon, because we're gonna miss him. But have faith in this Knicks team, man. We're going to keep it going. We're going to continue this winning streak. Positive vibes, everybody. Positive vibes.
Look, we're number 3 right now in the Eastern Conference. I think we're 1 game back of the Philadelphia 76ers. So it is doable. And look at our schedule coming up. I think 8 out of our next 9 games are at home at Madison Square Garden. And then we have a winnable game versus Charlotte. That should be winnable. And then after that, we're home for I think 2 weeks, and it feels good, because obviously we had a crappy schedule in December. Now we're starting to get home games, most home games remaining in the NBA. But yeah, Big Taz says Alec Burks is the final piece. I like Alec Burks, man. I really do. It's gonna be cheap, won't cost as much, and
I still think that's a good target to go out and get, man. That solves some of the issues with the bench.
And then Nick Yak says, please keep it as is. McBride getting playing time before the playoffs. He will have huge games in the playoffs, splashing threes in 12 minutes. Look at it that way. McBride's only spelling Brunson 12 minutes a game, and his three-point shot has vastly improved this season. Hit a little bit of a wall there last week. Last game got going. Bench unit actually looked good in the first half for Miami Heat. Third quarter is when they went on that run, and that's when, the bench unit kind of flamed out. Josh Hart played amazing. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a team effort with this Randle injury. But yeah, Deuce, I mean, you give him the shot, you give him in the keys off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been showing out himself. I mean, does it look clunky sometimes? Yeah, of course. He's still learning as he's going, but he's impressed me, man. And
Yep.
The more time he gets out there, the better he's going to get, in my opinion. And, got thrown into the fire, but so far so good. I like Deuce McBride. His shot is finally coming around. And I think that was the missing part.
CM says, forgot about Hayward as mentioned earlier. Yes. Don't forget the buyout market. I think Lowry will be bought out. Hayward's a name to watch. There's going to be Daniel Gafford's name has been rumored to become a New York Knicks. So depending on Randall's timeline, that would be interesting. And then obviously after that, we have Sadiq Bey and Clint Capella. I don't like these names. This is such a downfall.
You really do not like Clint Capella, huh?
No, I don't. But Big Taz, can we briefly talk about Embiid? Embiid sat out last game versus the Nuggets. I think he hasn't played them since 2019, and he can only miss 6 more games to be considered for MVP. So we should be watching that. But that's Philly. We're 1 game back of Philly, man. We coming for y'all. We on your ass. We on your ass, Philly.
Knicks, man. I mean, look, I think everybody is on notice, man. We're beating the Heat, beating the Nuggets. I think, we're maybe a good piece away, in my opinion, from being legit bona fide contenders, I mean, the Julius news obviously puts a damper on that, but again, that's how well this Knicks team has been playing, man.
This team it's getting me excited, but that's why the Julius Randle, the news is clouding my mind right now. We're such a good team. We can beat anybody at this moment. The way Brunson's playing, the way OG Anunoby's playing. Duran in the chat says, what if Randall's absence unlocks OG another level to his game that prices him away from the Knicks? Look, I don't want to think about OG's price right now. I just want to think about how what you said, he can unlock another level to his offensive game. And we've seen some blow-ups now from OG Anunoby. So his usage will skyrocket. That's a fact. Jalen Brunson's usage, I think, would stay the same, hover around, I think it's at 30% on the season, his usage. So his usage OG Anunoby's usage will skyrocket. We're going to need more out of Grimes. We're going to need more out of, just everybody to replace that. But if OG Anunoby, what if he can take his game? What is he averaging, like 15, 16 points right now? And make it, I have faith that he can go to 20, 25, if that. And he's been playing awesome for us.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, he's been amazing, man.
Yeah.
Better than I anticipated, especially offensively. He's hitting his shots. He's hitting that mid-range. He's taking the ball off the dribble now, driving strong, dunking on people. I mean, second efforts when it doesn't go for him at the rim, all of it. I think he could definitely go, bring another level. And without Randle, I wouldn't be surprised if, his scoring goes up even more. Like you said, it's going to be a team effort to replace what Julius brings to us. So, I don't think we'll get priced out. I mean, I'll say this, the Knicks didn't go out and trade RJ Barrett, Emmanuel quickly just to lose OG,
Yeah.
There's no way. No way.
That's not happening. All right. Couple of stats here. So since trading for OG Anunoby, the Knicks are 12-2, tied for first in the NBA. They have 104 defensive rating, first in the NBA. 15.1 net rating, first in the NBA. 56% rebound rate, first in the NBA. 43% opponent field goal percentage, first in the NBA. Look, and those stats refer at the lead SM on Twitter. I saw that. And look, best team in the league since the start of the new year. Hottest team in the league since the start of the new year. And there's no secret. What has changed? It has been OG. And it's nice to see him starting to smile, starting to be comfortable with the guys. I think I saw something that he's still staying in a hotel room, still living out of a suitcase. So he doesn't even have a home yet, and he's doing all this. But that's the thing I love about him. Like he's such like a guy that's built for New York. This guy's living out of a suitcase in a hotel room, just doing these, and then he's coming to the arena and just demolishing everybody on the defensive end and offensive end. Shout out to OG Anunoby, man.
Yeah, shout out to OG, man. I keep saying, I sound like a broken record, man. I did not expect this. 100%, I did not expect this. I knew he was good defensively. Did I know he was going to have this type of an impact on us? It almost takes me back to the Josh Hart trade. When we got Josh Hart, he gave us that infusion,
Yeah.
So I love it, man, and I hope it keeps going.
Likewise, Knicks says we need money next year for OG and Hartenstein. We can't take salary for next year. That's why we won't trade. Think the Knicks can do some things. I think they have they have an exception, and they would have obviously. I think OG's going to be here for the long run. They're not going to make that trade unless they know some inside information. But right now, look, Knicks are rolling. Jalen Brunson is playing absolutely incredible. But yeah, we just have to wait on the Julius Randle news. That's the whole thing that's lingering right now in my mind and every Knicks fan's mind. We haven't gotten a tweet yet. It's 10:04 p.m. on Sunday night. They said, hey, he got the MRI last night, I think. X-rays came back. They were kind of optimistic about that. Radio silence right now from the Knicks reporters. And we'll probably get the report from one of the big dogs. Woj or Shams will probably get the report first. And it's just a waiting game because if he's good, back in a month, sign me up.
We're good. If that's the case, we're good. And like most Knicks fans, I'm sitting here refreshing on another screen I got here. I'm just trying to see when that news breaks through. What is it going to be for Julius? And hoping for the best, man. Just hoping for the best.
Hoping for the best for Julius Randle. Okay, we're going to do something new here. So we're going to have Pride of the Week and Concerns of the Week for the New York Knicks. So I think I'll go first with the Concerns of the Week, Chris. So the Concerns of the Week is obviously at times the bench unit looks kind of funky. So hopefully they'll get their feet wet. A lot of people in the chat still want Deuce to, have that job. And maybe he is. After the trade, the Knicks signed him to that extension. They gave him, not a crazy contract at all, but they gave him the money and hopefully Deuce, and he has been playing well here lately. So Deuce McBride has been playing well, build the confidence, and we can just go from there. And since the trade, Chris, going back to the bench, the Knicks bench, they ranked dead last since the trade. So, dead last. But
That says it.
But we're starting to see good games out of Grimes. Last game, Grimes versus the Heat played okay. And Deuce has played okay. And then Precious has played well. So those stats may be a little bit, I don't know. I may have to look those up again. But yeah, when you hear that, what do you think?
I mean, those, the bench unit is my biggest, concern.
Yeah.
We saw it in the Heat game. We saw it, a little bit in the Nuggets game even. The bench unit comes in, it just doesn't look great. And if somebody's not hitting their shots, like in Grimes, it's not hitting threes, or McBride doesn't have his shot falling, where does the offense come from? You're seeing Jalen Brunson coming off the bench, just as fast as he sat on it. So, that's my biggest concern and continues to be my biggest concern. But like you said, as of late, Grimes has been showing us a little bit something. He's getting into a rhythm. And McBride, he's shooting the ball really well. So who knows? Maybe the numbers are a little bit skewed per se, but, hey, I think the biggest thing to take away from it, even with those struggles, we are still getting wins over tough opponents.
Denver, look, Miami, they've lost 6 straight, but, they don't care about the regular season. Beat them, Philly. They just keep on coming. They just keep on coming. Emerson with the super chat. Appreciate you. Just wanted to say what up. What's going on, Emerson? Just chopping it up another Sunday night. Appreciate you with the super chat. Look, talking about the New York Knicks, Randle injury situation, and then obviously we're just talking about, the bench unit kind of, what I kind of like is, when Randle and Brunson come out the game, and then OG Anunoby comes back in the game, because what we're seeing that right now is OG Anunoby comes out around this, like the 4-minute mark, 3-minute mark of the first quarter, maybe earlier than that. Then he's coming back in with the bench unit. And that's when you're seeing him start to facilitate the offense, sort of like what RJ was doing, but at a more efficient rate. And that's what I just hope that the New York Knicks continue to build on, because I like it. OG Anunoby, he's looking like Kawhi Leonard out there. Some of his moves, his step backs, mid-range jump shots. He even probably has another ceiling he can get to, which is kind of crazy to say and even think about. But what I kind of don't like about that substitution pattern is fourth quarter comes around, Tom Thibodeau takes OG Anunoby out around like the 6-minute mark, 7-minute mark. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dibs. Like, I don't know about this, but it's worked. But that's a little observation I made. But I don't know.
Yeah, look, when it's closing time, you want OG Anunoby out there. So I get that 100%. It kind of makes you question, like, I don't know, man. But with that said, I think we have enough defense on this team that's okay. Hey, it's been working. We've been getting the wins. I don't have a problem with it. And for as much as I want to run OG Anunoby out there and have him play every damn minute of the game, that's not sustainable.
He almost
and
has.
I'm about to say Tibbs is damn well trying to do that, but hey, maybe that's a situational thing. Maybe, obviously if a game is a lot closer, maybe Tibbs doesn't do that. But yeah, I don't really like the late fourth sub out, but gotta trust Tibbs, man. Hey, it's working.
That's what I come back around to. I'm like,
yeah,
right,
it's working.
I trust
it's
you,
working.
Tibbs. I trust you because taking him out right there. I know he wants to get him a little bit of a breather, and it's just whether or not it depends. Like if we're at a timeout, a dead ball, then sometimes he would even come in like with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and it gets kind of close. Got kind of close in that net game. But, yeah, just a little observation. CM says JB is the man. Yeah, let's talk about Jalen Brunson, Chris. Again, let's talk about Jalen Brunson because obviously the news last Thursday was he got snubbed from the All-Star game, starting the All-Star game. Look, it's all a popularity contest. I think I wrote something down here saying that on Instagram, Jalen Brunson has only 365,000 followers, and Damian Lillard has 10.3 million followers on Instagram. So it's look, it came down to the fan vote. That was a hot topic last week. fans voting. Did they show up? Did they not? At the end of the day, he still will be an all-star. He said he doesn't really care about it. He says he don't care. I think he does deep down inside. But yeah, Chris, he's playing like he is the best point guard in the East right now. No debate. Best point guard in the East, their conference right now. His numbers are better than Damian Lillard. Over 30 points, I think, in 6 out of his last 7 games. Averaging above, I mean, his assist numbers are up. His three-point efficiency is up. And, I mean, watching this guy facilitate the offense, I mean, boy, oh boy. Jalen Brunson, man, has been absolutely incredible for us. And, whew.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, you said it. And look, it came down to the fan votes. And in this case, Dame versus Jalen for starting the All-Star game. And I believe they were actually tied. I believe, the media and obviously the player votes, they were tied. I believe Alan Hahn mentioned it. I believe it was 37.5 for Dame, 37.5 for Jalen Brunson, with the tiebreaker being fan votes. And that's a big disparity, when it comes to Damian Lillard having 10 mil and then, Jalen Brunson having 365, K. That's a big, I really don't like the narrative that, New York didn't come out and support him and didn't vote. I don't think that's the case. I just think, Jalen Brunson's not going to be out there. He's not, his game speaks for itself. But he's also not going to be shooting the ball from half court every damn game. He's not going to be doing all these crazy flashy things, He's not going out there rapping like, Damian Lillard is doing, or, I think that's really what it boils down to. It's just more exposure, right? So I think New York went out and supported him. It's just Dame had a bigger following,
Yeah, and the NBA right now is a lot of young talent is in the NBA. Obviously, and a lot of young people vote for these things, and the NBA promotes a lot of these superstars. Dame on their Instagram feed, like you said. Dame, I mean, JB might not be the flashiest, but if you're actually watching the games, he's technical out there. I mean, he's an assassin, and his time will come. His time will definitely come. And I'm just hoping that, the world and, the United States and his brand becomes global, that everyone just starts to realize that number 11, Jalen Brunson, is that dude. One of the best point guards in the NBA, definitely in the East right now. And boy, oh boy, I'm just happy that he is on our team.
Yeah. Where would we be without Jalen Brunson, man? It feels great. Feels great to have a player of his caliber, only getting better. Getting better. And do I have to remind people that he was, an overpay?
That's what they said when they signed him.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said.
That's what they said. Alberto, what's going on in the chat? Believe in Grimes, believe in McBride, even believe in Precious, believe in that Brent, believe in that bench, and let them grow. Well said. I mean,
yeah.
And they have been growing. This last week, Grimes has started look, I'm hoping that Grimes can actually start to build off of this, because his confidence and, his shot is there. I mean, open threes, he's kind of taken a step back this year. But Precious has impressed me. I like what I'm seeing from Precious. But, yeah, I believe in them. I really do. And, look, when you give these guys an opportunity, sometimes it takes these young players a while to break through, especially in the Tom Thibodeau's this Tom Thibodeau team. So shout out to Deuce, man, balling out.
Yeah, I like Grimes. Look, I keep going back and forth. Hey, if we can trade Grimes for something better, sure. I'm all on board. But we've seen Grimes. We know what he can offer us defensively, and we know when his shot is on, he's a sniper. But what we've seen lately, in my opinion, I think is the biggest difference right now, is Grimes is starting to get that confidence back. He's putting the ball on the floor and he's attacking, but more importantly, he's not looking to pass right away. He's attacking the rim. He's actually trying to finish at the rim. So to me, that's huge, because whether you make it or not, it's similar to Josh Hart, right? Whether you make it or not, whether you take a three or not, now the other team has to honor that. They can't just assume, oh, you're going to pass it. You're not trying to lay it up. You're not trying to shoot that three. They gotta honor it. It changes the game, in my opinion, and that's what I'm seeing from Grimes lately.
Yeah, I think he attempted 8 free throw attempts last game, so just got to keep up the aggression. John Infante says, slide OG to Julius' spot, use Achua and OG together at times. Hart and Grimes and Devo and Deuce will have to pick up the scoring gap and bring up Toppin. Been getting that a lot. Bring up Jacob Toppin. Let him shine. He's actually been balling in the Westchester for Westchester. So I don't know if they do that.
like
We'll see. I do.
I like that, man. Why not give Jacob Toppin a chance? Let's see what he could do. Just it doesn't have to be 30 minutes or anything like that. Let's give him, 5-10 minutes. Let's see what what's the worst thing that can happen. Let's get Jacob Toppin up here.
Nick Yak with some positivity saying the Cowboys cornerback dislocated his shoulder last game of the year and he played a week after in the playoffs.
Ooh.
That sounds like a Julius Randle, right? I mean,
yeah, Julius is tough as hell, man. I think if he has a chance to go and he feels all right, even if he doesn't feel 80%, I think he'll go out there and he'll give it a shot. But
yeah,
with that said, is it worth it to risk further injury? I'd rather get him closer to that 100%.
it's not his shooting shoulder, it's not his shooting arm. So, Big Taz says, I had his comment here. Do you think Precious's start over Josh Hart? I do think those. I don't know, because we saw them start Jericho Sims too at the 4 a little bit. So, Tom Thibodeau when players like form chemistry like on the bench, Precious is absolutely doing that right now. Not sure who the Knicks slide in there, but he's an option along with Hart. And I don't think it's Hart because Hart has came out and said that he doesn't want to be a 4. But then you just slide OG at the 4. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, I think personally it'll be some combination of OG and then maybe Precious. I mean, I think it kind of depends on what's going on with iHeart. Is he going to continue to play? Because he only played 15 minutes recently, and if he's not, good to go, looked like he was, hobbling a little bit out there. So if he's not good to go for the next game, that could kind of change things. And I think they'd want Precious to back up Sims,
Yeah.
But time will tell. I mean, who knows what Tibbs is going to come up with.
He was hobbling a little bit there. I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
But, look, these guys want to play. Hartenstein wants to play. Randall's he wants to play. He's probably itching at the training staff right now, wanting to play. But just got to wait and see. All right. Reset the room a little bit. Appreciate every single one of you in here. How many people we got in here? 70 people. Smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. We are back at it again. Another episode of the Knicks Nation podcast, live podcast, episode 33. Doing this every single Sunday at 9:30 p.m. We opened this podcast up with the Julius Randle injury news. The New York Knicks are the hottest team in the NBA right now. They kind of put a damper on things. We're still waiting for an injury update, any update that we haven't gotten yet. A couple of people in the chat suggested that the Knicks may be looking for a second opinion on that Julius Randle shoulder. And you can look at it, that one of two ways. That's a bad thing that they're looking for a second opinion, or they got good news and they're just trying to confirm it that, it's not so bad of a news, and then they'll release something probably on Monday. But we just have to wait and see what the Julius Randle injury, what the significance of the injury is, because look, man, the sky's the limit for this team, and what they've shown you over this last month really is that, they can beat anybody. So it's just a waiting game at this moment.
Yeah, you said it. It's a waiting game. That news is going to be important. It's going to, dictate, in my opinion, what happens next. Do the Knicks go out and try to get a piece to replace Julius Randle per se? I'm not sure, in my opinion, but again, that all depends on how long it's going to take Julius Randle to get back. So, hoping for the best again.
Rick says problem is Julius uses that right shoulder to create space. Yeah, I mean, it's just, look, I'm just hoping for no ligament damage. I'm just hoping for, shoulders are kind of tricky. Some guys come back sooner, some guys it takes a while. I mean, we saw John Morant, not comparing the two injuries, but he had a torn something in his shoulder, knocked him out for the season. So right now, just a waiting game. Have to wait and see. But the guys will step up. I believe in the guys. I believe in OG Anunoby's play. I believe in Brunson has been balling. Grimes has shown us something here. Deuce has shown us something here. Josh Hart is starting to get more comfortable and actually starting to be more consistent. Still does those jump passes at half court, which drive me crazy. But yeah, had a big game, but a big dunk versus the Miami Heat. So
Big dunk, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that blow by, and then you thought he was gonna lay it up, and then he finishes strong. That got me out of my seat, man. I almost lost it.
Me too. AI in the chat says, or Al X in the chat says, good show, guys. Get Jacob Toppin up. How many comments have we have tonight, Chris, saying get Jacob Toppin up? It's been like 10, right? Something like that.
I think we miss Toppin, man. We need a Toppin out there.
All right, read off some of these comments, and I'll look up I want to see his stats in the G League.
All right, hold on. Let me.
I know he's playing well over there.
No, yeah, he's definitely lighting it up, and that's mostly what most of these comments are coming up about Jacob Toppin, because he's showing out over in the G League for the.
He had a 37-point game over there with 10 rebounds, 3 3-pointers made, and he's bouncy, and he's athletic like his brother. He's a Toppin. Knicks fans hold something in their heart for a Toppin, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, they can go that route. You know, we can go within. Bring up Jacob Toppin, extra guy off the bench, just let it roll. I mean, we're in a stretch right now where we can be able to do that. Like, we can kind of tinker with things. You know, it's not really a tough stretch. We have a bunch of games at home, so it's not like we're traveling or whatnot. Julius Randle doesn't really have to travel, can rehab his shoulder in New York City. So, look, the Knicks can go that route, promote from within, or go the trade route and get someone on the trade block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most safest route that the Knicks will take. They'll try somebody in house before they go out and make a big shakeup or make a move in that regard. I like Jacob Toppin, man. I mean, the knock on him was really that he wasn't like a clone of Obi Toppin per se. He wasn't offensively polished, but his defense was his calling card. So it's nice to see that he's out there and he's showing out and he's dropping points left and right, showing that he can hit the three ball as well. I mean, look, I know he's a project per se, but who's to say that can't translate, right?
Paris, what's going on in the chat? Just don't go with the 8-man rotation. That will kill Jalen Brunson. Not until the playoffs, Paris. Then we'll see that 8-man rotation. Just got to wait until the playoffs, but
I do think his usage is going to go up a tad bit, man. Maybe not much past, where he's at right now, which I believe is close to 30 or 30 flat, but they're definitely going to put more on JB's shoulders, in my opinion. Scares me, but
that don't scare me. What scares you?
What scares me is just overuse,
I mean, he's such a different breed, man. I mean, the overuse, I get it, but he loves it, I mean, he loves it. And I feel like, with more usage, what is he going to average? 30, 35? I mean, he's going to be one of these NBA players dropping 70 points. Like we had a couple of days ago, Luka dropped 70 points. He's capable of doing it, So we're just going to see more Brunson, more Anunoby on the offensive end, and yeah, I mean the guys they'll step up. That's how I believe in. That's how much I believe in this team this year. It's just it feels different, right? This year it just feels different. Like there's something about this team, Chris, that's giving me I don't know, Eastern Conference Finals vibes. I'm starting to feel something about this Knicks team.
The weird thing is that it's kind of hard to kind of pinpoint what exactly that feeling is, but it's a good feeling. That's for sure. I mean, look, we had such a good season. The past season, everything was great, second round playoffs, I think a lot of Knicks fans were a little nervous. Was it a fluke? Is that what we are? Are we going to revert back to the old Knicks? What are we going to get? And look, with the additions of OG, I mean, we're just on cloud nine right now, in my opinion. The best since that trade went down, only getting better and going to get better, in my opinion. Granted, Julius is down, but who knows? Even with Julius being down right now, there's a potential that we get even better defensively.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Maybe we just take it to a whole nother level defensively, and that is really what will, kind of replace some of the production per se that Julius would be giving us.
I mean, I would agree with you in that, but the Knicks right now with Julius are one of the best defensive teams to start the year. The best in defensive rating. So, at times we know Julius sometimes can get lost on the defensive end, following his mans, going through screens and whatnot. But, they played great as a team defensively. And it depends who they slide in there. I mean, I have faith in them. Whoever they slide in there will step up, and whoever comes in and, is trying to replicate. I mean, 25-10 is hard to replicate, but, I mean, we did the concerns of the week, the prides of the week. Jericho Sims and Precious Achiuwa we wrote down here. I mean, Jericho Sims has played amazing. Precious has played amazing now. And we're just going to ask more from them during Julius Randle's absence. And the way Precious has played, over 40 rebounds in his last 4 games, even rebounding offensive rebounds, like, he's played well. Jericho's looked bouncy, fresh legs for Jericho. So, the scoring, I'm not concerned about the scoring. I feel like the scoring will balance itself out. Brunson, Anunoby, Hart, DiVincenzo. I think the scoring will balance itself out. But, I believe in them. I do.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be tough, without Julius, but I have faith in this team, man. I mean, this team is clicking, and luckily, our schedule is not, too crazy. So I think the Knicks could weather the storm. Now, again, goes back to what's the news going to be on Julius Randle? How long is it going to take? So, but right now I'm optimistic, man. I'm optimistic as far as the team in general. So trying to keep it that way.
Yeah, I'm optimistic as well. I don't know. I'm optimistic as well. But Paris says, like it or not, get Fournier going. He get decent minutes in 2 games. Just need 8 minutes from Evan Fournier. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about. But hey, I mean, everyone got to step up.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. I mean, there's been a couple of times now we've seen Fournier get off the bench. I mean, again, surprised that he's still a Knick, surprised that he's still here, and surprised that he's seen the court as much as he has this season. So I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. We could be seeing Fournier out there.
Could be. Cats tweeted this 3 hours ago. Thibs has a few options to start at power forward to versus the Charlotte Hornets, depending on when you're listening to this. Could be Hart, could go with Grimes or Achiuwa, but he really shied away from playing Grimes and Dante DiVincenzo together. My guess is he goes with Josh Hart and then staggers him with Anunoby. So one of them is the backup 4. So that's from Fred Katz. Fred Katz says that he believes that he starts Josh Hart. That's just his guess. And we'll see.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I think might be the case. As much as Josh Hart does not want to play the 4, I think he'd do it in a pinch like this.
And then Mark Berman quoted that tweet. Shout out to Mark Berman. Retired Mark Berman. Fred's a nice guy, but then shows the angst of an NBA beat reporter waiting by the phone all day Sunday for a random update from Knicks PR that never came. Then he says, doesn't seem like that's a good sign, though. So, look, right now it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game with Julius Randle. It is an absolute waiting game. All right, hit some of these comments. Paris says OG and Sims will keep us alive defensively. Juggernaut and Anunoby Precious can play the 4. I have faith in the guys, man. Look, we've said it, man. Everyone will step up. D-Raz, salute to you, sir. Appreciate you in the chat as always. Trav, what's going on? Love the show, y'all. Get well soon, Drew. We still got enough to make the push for the 3rd seed. This team is clicking. Thibs is in his bag. Let's do it for Julius Randle. Look, Tom Thibodeau, man. I mean, he's been here and absolutely has changed the culture for this team. Obviously, we have, the Milwaukee coach situation. Now, Doc Rivers is in there. It's just good to have stability on our side. It's just good to have a stable front office, coaching staff, team, and fan base, dare I say, right now.
Hold up. Are you saying that the Knicks are stable and more stable than other teams?
Yep.
Man, times have changed, man. Times have
good,
changed.
Feels amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, this is why this year feels different. Like, last year was such, like, second round. We were right there. I keep going back to that Brunson almost pass to Josh Hart in the first time Miami Heat. But look, I mean, that last season was such a great season to build off of. This season started off rocky. Leon Rose picked up the phone. Toronto, I'll send you RJ quickly. Give us OG, and it absolutely has shifted the landscape in the Eastern Conference. Because right now, at this moment, Knicks 1 game back of the 3rd seed, and I think they're going to catch Philly. I do, because this Embiid knee injury, he's missing all these games, and I think they're going to catch Philly. And if we can lock up the 3rd seed, Chris, that would be huge, absolutely huge. And
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but man, that would
Yeah.
be something, man. That would be something. And look, like you said, it's part of just from top to bottom, this Knicks organization, they seem to be in sync, The moves that they made are paying off. Like I mentioned, again, this is like the Josh Hart trade. We got OG Anunoby, and it sparked us, things were looking rough, as far as the team chemistry was going. And bam, OG Anunoby gets acquired, in a trade that, let's be real, that must have been a tough trade for Knicks organization to make. Giving up RJ Barrett, giving up Emmanuel quickly. So, credit to them, man, because, man, has it worked out in our favor.
It has for sure. We even saw Drake in Madison Square Garden versus the Miami Heat, and that's big because Drake has never, I don't think he's ever been to the Garden. So I saw Drake, and is he following Anunoby around? Possibly.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to say, you think he was just, checking in on OG? Like, hey, come back, please. We miss you.
I know. All right. Trade rumor mill. We'll touch on this really quick. So, obviously, DeJounte Murray's name has been lingering. And then we used to have Bruce Brown's name is still out there. Alec Burks, Malcolm Brogdon. You can chime in the chat as well. We'll touch on this really quick. But, Knicks right now, obviously, it all depends on the Julius Randle injury situation to see if they'll bolster up the bench. But nothing really, substantial on the rumor front. I mean, it just seems like, I think I saw something that the Lakers are out on DeJounte Murray, or they're not willing to pay the price. Yeah, something like that. But, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, you have this Fournier contract still lingering around. You don't want to pick it up just to have him sit on the bench next year, again, just to use it in a trade. So that's what I keep going back to, thinking that the New York Knicks are going to make a trade, because I just feel like they just have to use that Fournier contract to get something in value in return to improve your team. But they could just be like, why change it? It's working. We know the bench right now is kind of iffy at times, but with practices, with more games, we're hoping that chemistry starts to form. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on, the trade front? Nothing.
Yeah, things have been pretty quiet. I mean, more quiet than I expected, with all the names that have been out there. Brogdon, you had DeJounte Murray, recently the Alex Burks, which I was actually hearing that Detroit actually doesn't want to trade most of their guys, which makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. They've lost a ton, continue to lose. Why not? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Things have been pretty quiet on the trade front. So not really much going on there. And that's a nice, I mean, not nice, but when it comes to Evan Fournier and that expiring contract, do you think that hurts the Knicks per se? Because teams know they need to basically unload that, or else they get nothing. I mean,
That's why it's been leaked lately that from Bobby Marks, it hasn't been leaked, but Bobby Marks has suggested that the Knicks could just pick up his team option next year and just have him sit on the bench again. But I wouldn't like that. Just sounds crazy. But teams are like, it depends what. Look, for all we know, the Knicks could be involved in trade talks right now. And that could be a reason as to why the Julius Randle injury news hasn't come out yet. Because maybe the Knicks are like talking with another team. And then let's say the Julius Randle injury news comes out and the other teams is like, oh, you're desperate. You're desperate right now. So, yeah, we're going to ask for another pick, another first round pick or something like that. So I just thought of that. It could be like another reason why, the injury hasn't come out yet. So, I don't know.
hey, I mean that would be a positive spin on it as far as Julius's status, not on his injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a I didn't think about it that way. That could possibly be it. Wow, I
Yeah,
like that.
I mean,
I hope that's the case.
it could be. Look, if Randall's healthy, then I mean, ride the guys and until you get back. But yeah, man. I mean, this is all we're waiting on right now is this Julius Randle injury designation. Again, by the time you're listening to this, probably gonna post this on Apple, Spotify tonight. Definitely. We could already know, but it all hinders on that, depending on where the Knicks go in the trade market. But enjoy this damn team, man. 12-2 in the OG Anunoby era. Guys are playing well. The aura is absolutely amazing. I mean, the chemistry is amazing. Everyone's smiling, laughing, playing with one another. And Tom Thibodeau's even laughing at post games. So, which is why I think if we come together as Knicks fans and bring, some positivity around Julius Randle's injury, hopefully that we can get some good news out of it. But, yeah, man. What do you say, Chris? What do you say?
Positive juju. We don't want the bad juju. We want the positive juju.
We definitely want the positive juju. All right, hit some of these comments before we head up on out of here. Appreciate every single one of you that has joined us tonight in this chat. CM says Bojan Bogdanovic again. His name has been brought up. D-Road, what's going on? We need Randle, but can live without him for a bit. Just need Jalen Brunson more on the floor for sure. More on the floor for Jalen Brunson? We need him more? I mean, he's already playing like close to 40 a game, but no, I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm scared of, man. That's what I'm scared
Yeah.
of. But no, I think they'll keep his minutes in check for the most part. It's just, whether a game is close or not, he's obviously going to be out there. And I'm just scared, to get another, player hurt, in my opinion.
Big Tass says, damn, I feel bad for Burks. He helped us build this franchise from the 2020 season. Big money AB. Look, we said it last podcast. I wouldn't be mad if they went that route. I wouldn't be mad. But yeah.
I still want to see it happen. I mean, hopefully Detroit's just trying. I mean, maybe this is their way of playing hardball per se. I mean, they really have no leverage, in my opinion. Everybody knows that they should sell.
Yeah.
And why hold on to an Alec Burks when he doesn't really fit with your, the news out of Detroit basically was like something along the lines of, hey, we need veterans because we're losing so much. You need a steady presence of vets. I don't buy that. Hopefully we could swing something for Alec Burks because I think he will fit great with this team, man.
He will indeed. All right, one more refresh before we get up on out of here. No MRI results yet. So we'll be waiting.
The entire time, just searching for anything.
We'll be waiting, man. We will be waiting. All right, guys. Got to get it done. Charlotte up next. Then we have a bunch of home games. Crossing our fingers for Big Jew. Let me put up his jersey one more time. Big Julius Randle.
Salute the jersey.
Let's go. Get healthy soon. Get healthy soon, Big 30. We need you out there. You've been playing amazing this year. Hope for the best, nothing but the best for Big Julius Randle. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. I'm Anthony. This has been a great episode. Again, it is a wrap. That is Chris. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.